Hey YouTube, as you saw a couple videos back, I did the Boomba transmission bracket bushings. Today I got in the mail the Boomba short shifter, and I also have the bushings that go on the shifter housing on the inside of the car. So I'm going to go through all the steps you need, all the tools you need. So I'm going to urge all of you to watch this entire video because there's certain parts of it that the instructions weren't correct, and I ended up doing a thing one way and then having to figure out that, oh, it works out a different way. So when watching this video, make sure you watch the whole thing. Thank you. So here is the breakdown of the amount of reduction you'll get. So I don't have this bracket, I just have the lever. So we're going to go off shifter lever, position 1, 2, and 3, and we get 10, 20, and 30%. So I'm going to be doing position 3 to get 30% off of the stock shifting. So that means that's this position here, which luckily it already came like that, so I don't even have to move it. But if you want not as much difference, then you would go with, 1 or 2. And then they have combinations here if you had both. So you could get a total of 51% off the shifting throw. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is start on the passenger side with a flathead, and you pop that out. Then behind there's just a press-in clip, like so. And then we finagle this thing out. Alright, on this side, it's the same thing. There's one little press fit connector over here. Just give it a couple nice tugs. You'll get that. And then go ahead and pull this out the same way as you did the other side. Next thing, you're going to need to take the shift knob off. And regardless, it's just going to unscrew for you. If you have a JBR shift knob like I do, you're going to have to take this sleeve off. And then you're going to have to take this nut off the bottom. So, the same way that you guys remembered putting it on, if you do have it, just take it off. Alright, so when taking this boot shroud off, I found it easier to take a flathead, pop this corner off, and then that allowed me to get into the rest of the way. Alright, so once you got this up, it's gonna have, this is that quick release, it'll have this connected to it. So just set this off to the side. Next thing you need to do, there's 3 screws here, here, and here. Take that apart, and that'll loosen this, and we can pull that out. Alright, you're going to need to pull this off, this little cover. So pull the e-brake up. There's a clip on the back side here, and then a clip over here. You just slide that off. Then this one should just come out of the way. Like so. Then we're gonna have to take this bolt, and there's another one in here. These 2 out. So those 3 little screws that you had to take off were 7/32. So I just use this tool right here, where it just pops on a socket. That'll get rid of those 3 small screws. To take off the 2 screws here and here, you're going to use a 10mm socket. And just use it. Now that you have this side plastic piece off from over here, you can now pull off this piece right here. And then you're going to have two 10mm bolts that hold the center console down. One here and one exactly opposite on the other side. You're also going to have a 10mm bolt here that holds this front of the center console. You're going to have to disconnect this and this so that you can slide the center console out. Now that you have the center console out of your way, you can get to the shifter mount bolts. This is a 8mm, and just make sure you have at the minimum 6 inches of extension. I'm using 9 inches. Seems to be a lot nicer with 9 inches. Alright, so to get this top one off, I used this big flathead and I used this bar as leverage, and I popped it off sideways like that. So to get this one, you're going to slide it sideways, reach this screwdriver underneath, grab that tab on the back, and pull up. To get this cable loose, it has a sliding collar on the back right here. You have to slide this collar back and then just lift straight up, and it'll come out of that groove right there. And you got to do the same thing with the back one. Alright, step 17 says remove the side shift pivot pin, which is this. Pry on the pin with a screwdriver. That's the shittiest instruction out of this whole thing so far. That's the dumbest thing. That would not work because there's two little plastic fangs that hold it like this. So you have to take a fucking pick or something, which I used a pick. You have to pry the plastic away from being inside this groove, and then you can pry this with the screwdriver and pull it out after. Alright? So next we have to take this side shift arm off. Okay? So put a screwdriver back here, pop it. This thing will come flying out like a madman. Then you can rotate this up and then pull off of that. Next we need to remove this cover. So there's one here, one over here, and then two down here. Oh, there's a tab here and a tab on the back that's going to hold it after you get the screws. So you just undo those and this thing comes off. Once you took those little latches off, then you move the spring that was going over the top. You just pull it and slide it over to where it hangs down here. Then you can just pull this straight out. Alright. Once again, these instructions are just shit. They're just not detailed enough. So, you know, this shit is stupid. So they didn't make enough clearance, so you damn near have to break this fucking thing because they wanted to put this huge dick on the bottom. Okay? Totally fucking overkill. At least with the shifter they made it, the white part smaller so this fucking thing can go in and out. So good job for that. Alright, now insert the new one. Well, this is the fucking old one. Insert the new one. Just like so. Then you're going to press this on. Oh, actually, sorry. we need to spray the crap out of this with lithium grease so that it actually slides. Then slide this over. And that shit explodes everywhere. Now that we have this ring on and we have the lithium grease, I'll just spray some more. Can't really hurt. Then go ahead and slide this in. Grab your flathead. Flathead's gonna... If I can actually do this. There we go. Make sure you get it inside this rubber ring. Now it's all fucking lubed up. Just stop it. Alright, so after fighting with it like a motherfucker, it finally went on. You want the spring to be one on each end, and then you need this rubber O-ring. You need it to be inside the groove on the top and the bottom. Then we can slide the cover back on, latch the latches, then screw in these. Alright, next thing, we're going to put this back on top of this ball. So, just press down till it goes on. Then you're going to grab this bracket, slide it over the white first, then bring it over and around. Then, you should be able to do that. Tap that in nice and good. So push the little plastic tab back in the groove so it can't slide out. So as of now, the side cable is connected. Alright, like I said, I have the shifter bushing kit for this as well. So we're going to go ahead, push out the metal first. Or actually, the whole thing will come out as one. So, if you no, that one came out separate. So, yeah, so press out the metal first, then you can pop out the bushing. Do that to all four. Alright, so now I'm putting the shifter bushings in. What I'm doing is I'm grabbing the ones that are fat. See the big circle? The big circle there? Small circle here. I'm taking the big circle ones, putting them on the bottom of the shifter. Okay, see, with super glue? So the super glue will hold it so that the stupid things don't fly off when I try to put this in the car. So I'm just going to put it, spin it, let it dry, and then do the same thing with the top ones that fit inside of these. Then we can put this back in the car. Now that the super glue's dried, I have both of them on both sides. So the bushings were the easiest part of this job by far. So now we're going to toss this in. So what we're going to do is same thing we did to take it apart, but in reverse. So the first cable that I'm putting in is going to be this top one. So after you pull the little clips, push in the back of the cables into the holders. Just push these down. Now that you took them off for the first time, they will be much easier to take on and off. Then put the screws back in, all four corners, tighten them down. I would suggest putting them all in a couple threads by hand first, making sure you don't have anything cross-threaded, and then after that go ahead and torque them down all the way with the ratchet. Alright, so now the safety release for reverse has this big black piece that connects this to the boot. Now with theirs, they're saying pull it out and install their little spacer, which is just this little thing right here. So I'm gonna twist this off like so. Then we're gonna put that one on, and then where did it go? There it is. Then we're gonna push this on like so. So now it's a lot shorter, and that's gonna sit on like this. We still have to put some more stuff together before we put that back on, but that was pretty easy too. Alright, after you set the center console back in place, take this 10mm and put these back in the front. Do not torque these hard. If they're snug with a couple fingers, you're done. So you have one right here, and the other one is over here. Alright, so they screwed the directions up again. They're going to have to really go through it and fix it and send out the new ones. So anyways, this driver side panel right there, right here, actually fits underneath of this panel that goes by the e-brake. So you're going to have to take this panel that goes by the e-brake off first, because it slides in everywhere else. Alright, so this screw over here, you're going to want to leave this one out until you put this in. So you're going to take this plastic piece, push forward up here, okay. Then you're going to take that screw, and it holds down both pieces of plastic. Right. Now you're going to take this little dust cover for the e-brake. You're going to slide it. You're going to slide this underneath first, like so. Then just press down, and it's all good like that. Alright, you're also going to need to make sure that you lube everywhere that this is supposed to go. I kind of went a little bit overkill, but you get the idea. You need this whole corner where this is going to sit on. So I'm going to go spray this outside of the car, and then we're going to slide this on. So there's a little keyway on here, so you have to make sure that keyway matches up with the groove on the front of this shifter. So it will actually go over it like that. So once you have it over, now you can take this cover, and if it'll be nice, just push down everywhere. There we go. Little recess that a little bit, and then we can put on the shifter knob again. Now don't forget, you have to re-plug in this big plug and then this USB cable. Also, there's that 10mm screw right there. We need to put that in right now. So connector, screw. So just to reiterate, in order to get this side panel off of the driver's side, you have to first pull the shifter ring, then that tiny 8mm screw right in the front, then pull this side panel, then you can pull off this side one. So if you have an ST3, their directions are going to be totally useless for you as far as this part's concerned. And then you have that one back there. Alright YouTube, so I've been driving with this short shifter for last night and the whole day today, and so I wanted to give a good review on how it feels, how it just overall works in general. So I noticed immediately that it took more force to shift it compared to the last one, but if any of you have taken physics, that's just because the lever is shorter, right? So you have to put more torque or a pressure applied to move the lever the same, to move the same object on the other end. So, but it's not horrible, so I'm happy with that. The position, if you look at it, the position is, it sits lower in as well, so that's why the boot gets pushed in now. That's okay. I kind of wish it was the same as stock height, just with the shorter throw, but it's good for me, and some of you might like it even better, so no complaints. It seems also a little bit stiffer, even though I put the lithium grease all inside. I have a feeling maybe it'll take a couple weeks or so for it to get nice and smooth. I didn't take a micrometer and measure the round part of the shifter to check if it was different, you know, by even 1/1000th of an inch will make it feel stiffer inside that circular housing. So the overall, this Boomba short shifter is very good, and for the price compared to others like the Ford replacement short shifter, which is like $400 or something stupid, I think it's a very, very good value for the dollar. So I recommend to everybody, if you're looking at a short shifter, this is a good option, and go ahead and do it. The only thing I really didn't like was their directions were for an ST1, ST2 center console, which totally do not work for this car because this is an ST3. So just a disclaimer, make sure you watch the whole video, because there's steps in it that are going to save you from either breaking a plastic piece of trim or just bending something or getting all pissed off because it's a pain in the ass. So till next time, wrench on.